Yeah, this episode's not going to suck like the last 100 or so. This one's going to rock with the nice guys on business.
I couldn't fathom really reporting into people, and because of their age or their tenure at the company or something of that nature, that they were inherently smarter than me and inherently they made the decisions above me, and my word was taken with a less grain of salt because of my age or how long I've been at the company or something of that nature.
Well, I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal. People know me. I'm very important. I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells like the nice guys on business. Need an education on how to grow your business? The nice guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Hey, Funkin' fans, welcome back. Welcome back. It is Wednesday, middle of the week. My name is Strickland Bonner on the other side of the microphone. And along with us today, newly appointed executive producer Mar, if she decides to chime in. But she may not, because you ever watch, what is it, Kelly and Regis? Like it used to be, Regis and Kelly. Kelly and Michael or whoever it is now.
Who's the guy in the background? That was Michael.
Right,
no,
exactly. Michael,
name?
like you never hear from him, but every once in a while they'll call him out and they'll turn the camera around and he'll say something. That's Mar for us now.
Mar, are you wearing one of those little headsets, like the cool headset, like was it Michael? I don't think it was Michael.
Yeah, it is. Michael's the producer, right? The executive producer that chimes in on the show, right?
I don't know. That name just isn't striking a chord with me.
And Mar's
maybe our executive producer can look it up and tell us if we're being correct or not.
She's not unmuting her mic. She doesn't want to talk to us, I guess.
I just have a regular headphone on. That's it. Nothing special.
Okay. Well, okay, you are filling a similar slot to Tyler Schmitt, although I hope we're not working you as hard as Gary Vaynerchuk works Tyler. That's who our interview is with today.
Let me just say, when I first connected with Gary V to get him on the show, my original point of contact was Tyler. And it did take a while, if you remember correctly. I think I even got to the point where I said, okay, Gary V, you are dead to me.
Right, yes, you did.
Yeah, but then Tyler ended up responding, and the big challenge was just trying to narrow down a schedule. And Gary with Gary's schedule. So Tyler ended up doing such a great job of connecting us, and then I developed a connection with Tyler just through text messaging, and Gary had to change the schedule like a half a dozen times, and we get it. I mean, we're not a priority to Gary V, and nor should we be. But Tyler was just such a great guy, and then I thought, how cool would it be to have a guest on the show like Tyler, who has a behind-the-scenes look at like what goes on in the workings of VaynerMedia and all the fun stuff that Gary V is up to. So he's got a lot of like behind the scenes kind of information, which again it's fun to get just a little peek into what goes on behind the scenes with VaynerMedia. So Tyler came on the show and did a great job with that.
No, it's way cool. I mean, it's so interesting to see and hear the behind the scenes. And I mean, a guy like Gary, I mean, he's got so much going on. It's crazy. How would you even begin to like organize a guy with a life like that? It's really cool.
Well, so, he's got a long list of experience that led him up to VaynerMedia. And I'm saying that tongue in cheek because he worked on a taco truck before he came to work for Gary.
Now I'm hungry.
I think I think there was a connection that he had, and he explains how he got the job with Gary. But it wasn't an extensive amount of experience. But what has been interesting is what the evolution of Tyler Schmitt through the last several years of working with Gary. So great episode. Fun guy, and he definitely a young guy. Look at the cover art, just fun. I think he's got a skateboard that he's either on or has in his hands. I forget.
Well, he graduated Penn State in 2013, so he's only 4 years out of college. So yeah, he's a young guy.
Yeah. Yep. Before we get to the interview with Tyler, just quickly, let me just mention a couple of things. Today is Wednesday's episode that we are now fully into our Funkin' Fans Bingo.
One day away. The game one of Bingo starts tomorrow.
You still
have time to get your bingo card.
You got to get your card. Here's how you get your bingo card. Type the word or text the word Nice Guys, NICEGUYS, no spaces, upper, lowercase, doesn't matter. Text Nice Guys to 31996, and we will email you a bingo card. And Are we going to send them 1 or 2 bingo cards?
One. I think one is going to be good because we got a feeling that these are going to fill up quickly because the squares of nice guyisms we do so often.
Yeah, we explained the whole routine yesterday. If you haven't listened to yesterday's episode, go back and listen to it. We really do get very in depth. We're not going to do that today, but in order to get the card again, text nice guys to 31996.
Do you know why we're not going to do that today, Doug? That would be exposition. We're not going to do that.
Oh, that's true. We're not going to explain that anymore today. If you have not yet recommended this episode, please take a moment, go back to your cover art, hit the little star button, and you will recommend us.
On Overcast.
On Overcast.
I mean, some people are listening on iTunes, so you do it differently. Not many.
At what point, Strick, do we say fuck iTunes? At what point are we just going to say that?
I think it would be so cool to be the podcast that ends up getting 1 million downloads and isn't even on iTunes. How cool would that be?
I'm sure. I have to think that has happened before. How?
Really? I mean,
nobody.
I think we would have heard about it. I mean, I could be wrong, but I would think because iTunes is the 800-pound gorilla. Really? I mean, they really are.
So we are Wednesday. This is the 31st of May.
Mm-hmm.
As of tomorrow, our month starts over again. Nice Guy community, we are just about to tick over 80,000 downloads for the month of May, and this is just because of your awesomeness. So thank you, everybody in the Nice Guy community. If you could just help us just a little bit, that would be really good. If you just go to patreon.com/nice guys for as little as $1 a month, you'll help keep the microphones working.
Doesn't Stephanie Sursland download on iTunes?
She might.
She pointed out to us, I think, when iTunes was delaying posting our episodes. So.
Oh, that's right.
Uh-huh.
That's right.
She and 3 other people. The other 2,997 of you are downloading on Overcast.
I don't understand what the whole thing is with iTunes. I really don't.
I don't get it.
But anyway, neither here nor there. So let's get to our interview with Tyler Schmitt. We are the Nice Guys on Business podcast, proud to be affiliated with not only the C-Suite Radio Network, but also the Greatness Podcast Network as well. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get to the interview right here. Now imagine watching and being a part of business history. Well, Tyler Schmitt actually has his finger on the pulse of media star Gary Vaynerchuk every day. I mean, a piece of a complex puzzle known as VaynerMedia. Tyler he's a 24/7, I think, skateboard riding, social media hustling, actually nice guy. So here to share a little bit about his story today on the Nice Guys is Tyler. Welcome, Tyler, to the Nice Guys on Business.
Thank you very much, Doug. I appreciate you having me on here, and I'm looking forward to the conversation.
I just remember, and I'm going from no notes here, so I'm going to completely fuck up all the dates and everything. But I just remember talking probably about maybe about 7 or 8 months ago to you on social media about trying to land the Gary V interview, and you were just one of those reachable guys. And I don't know if it just that you struck up a like to me, or if this is just how your personality is all the time. I'm thinking that you just are a nice guy. Is that fair, or is that out of character for you?
I think that's at least I try to be to the best of my ability. In terms of being reachable and things of that nature, it's kind of what I pride myself on, and it's kind of the job more or less. But even when I say the job, I sometimes cringe a little bit because I've had this conversation a lot recently. Now I just look at it all as my life, and I've got to this place where I'm not really separating work versus non-work and things of that nature. And so, I'm always open. And I think we first connected on Twitter, and then I vividly remember our first conversation where I was standing when we spoke on the phone and getting that all set up. And some people you just immediately connect with, and I think that was kind of how our conversation went right off the bat.
No, thanks. And you did say something just a minute ago, and I just want to really stress this, because I think that this is where most people that really love what they do, or love the idea of what they do, it's like you stopped thinking of something as a job and you started thinking of it as this is just your life. And so I guess it begs the question, how do you find any separation in there too? Because Gary is probably a 24/7, at least the presence, it looks like he's a 24/7 kind of guy. So how do you? I mean, you're probably getting calls at 1 a.m. saying, "Hey, can you help me handle this?" Right?
Totally. And, if not from him, then also just there's, so many people in the network in the world, and you try to be there as much as possible for everyone. But yeah, when I first kind of started, it was this uphill battle of trying to separate, doing so much at all times. When do I get, some time for myself and things of that nature? And as the more I realized, the more time that I'm putting in, the more that I'm enjoying it in turn. And then it just kind of became this loop of, not trying to separate, when I'm working and when I'm not working, because that's when it kind of became problematic and I let stress get in and things of that nature. And I've realized the more that I'm doing it, more that I'm working, the more that I'm enjoying work, and the more that it allows me to decompress and kind of choose, obviously there's, understanding when the markets are on 9 to 6, Monday through Friday and things of that nature. But being able, because I know how much I'm going, when I need to step back and, take some time for myself and do some things on my own. But a lot of people have asked me, how do you do work-life balance, things of that nature? And recently I've just been like, I just say my work equals my life equals balance. So it allows me, because I'm just all in, to be able to kind of pick and choose when I do need some time for myself and to be able to decompress.
Well, and how do you know, you're a young guy. So I think you graduate from Penn State in 2013. Is that so you're in your 20s, unless you were you're on the 12-year plan of college. So as a young guy, did you think that it was going to be this way when you got into the workforce? Or, my son probably just hopes that it will be this way. He hopes that he will have such a connection with what he does for a living that he actually will be able to put it all together, just like you did for personal and your business life goes together.
I had no idea, to be honest. I really didn't. And what's kind of funny, actually, just before I got on here with you, I saw an Instagram that was actually interesting to my life. I took a job. So I was a hospitality major at Penn State, which is also a different story. It's funny now that I view, I thought I was going to get out of hospitality, and I view my role just as it 100% now. But I took a job, and I'd worked for 3 months in a position that I was in the spot where I was like, I can't believe I graduated college. My life now, I'm working, full time, and I hated what I was doing, to the point where the day that I quit my job, I got into the car and was in tears about having to drive to work. Mm-hmm. So I've seen that side of it, and I never could have imagined that I could get to a place where I just genuinely love waking up and working until midnight and going to sleep. And a lot of times I lay in bed, which isn't even a joke. Like, I lay in bed and just like, I don't even want to fall asleep because I just want to keep working, and there's just more exciting things that I could be, getting done. I genuinely didn't think that I could get to this point. Yeah. But now that I have a lot of conversations, and my sister's a junior in college, and I just, from my hometown, know a ton of people. I have a lot of conversations just about that. It is out there. You just need to be patient and be willing to kind of take the time to find it, and know that it's not always just going to be black or white in terms of you're either going to fully love what you're doing and be all in or not. There's just kind of like a path to getting to that place.
And it makes you feel good too, because when you get to a position where you love doing what you do, even at a young age, doesn't matter, nice guy community, those that are listening out there that are in their 40s and 50s and beyond, this does not mean that this has to happen when you're in your 20s. This can happen just as easily when you're in your 50s or 60s. And maybe it is when you go from leaving a corporate gig to a self-employed or an entrepreneurial journey that you have on your own. I love the fact that you that you worked on a taco truck, or at least you worked for a company that worked on it. I was doing a little research on you. Easy to find on LinkedIn. But what was the taco truck experience?
So,
how could you hate that?
Right before I came on, I just saw on Instagram they actually they closed down the business today, which is actually kind of sad. That's how I ended up here at Vayner, was those guys there. But so I majored in hospitality at Penn State, and I had always wanted to kind of go the entrepreneurial, where everyone was kind of taking jobs at big corporations, Hyatt, Marriott, Starwood, things of that nature. I wanted to be more entrepreneurial, and I always wanted to be in a position where I could have an actual impact on what was going on. And so I got connected with a guy named Chris, who was working on this early stage restaurant concept. And that was when fast casual was really like taken off. That was like the height of like the Chipotle boom.
Yeah.
And so he was working on an authentic Mexican fast casual concept that was street food in brick and mortar. So it was actually it was a brick and mortar location, but it was street concept. And I helped open their flagship store out in Morristown, oversaw the build out, building out the, training programs, interviewing the hiring, got it, opening night up and running. And then just the day to day of the business was, it wasn't for me. I didn't necessarily enjoy it. And I felt like I had gone a little backwards in having my full hands and being able to impact the business versus just kind of managing one location on a day-to-day basis. And so after a couple months there, I realized it wasn't for me. I kept wanting to be involved in their marketing and their promo and their Instagram and their Twitter and all that.
Yeah.
And they were like, all right, just do your job because we have.
Well, that is my job, dude. That is my job.
Exactly. And so then one day it was like week 4 of NFL. I was hanging out with all my buddies. I had to go work like a 5 to 9 Sunday shift, and I got in the car and was like, I don't want to do this at all any longer. And I just graduated and had a degree and had college debt and just took out a car loan. And I told my mom I was going to quit, and she was like, cool. And that was that.
She's like,
and then they helped me. They made the connection to my initial role here at VaynerMedia. So it was all amazing and grateful. And I was happy that they kind of, understood what I was going through and made some introductions that allowed me to get to where I am today.
All right. So you said it as a part of that. And again, I'm just going to feed back some of the words that you say, because I think these are words that typically somebody that has graduated in the last decade would probably say this word. And I really want to understand it a little bit deeper, because I think part of and I know Strickland hates, my co-host hates when I say this. If you're in that next generation or the beyond that, if I'm a 50 something or a 40 something, he's going to bleep this out because he'll never let me say what my age is on the air. But if you're somebody that's beyond their 20s and you hear, I want to have an impact, okay, that totally that encapsulates everything that we feel like a millennial is all about. And I hear it in your tone, and I really understand it when you say it. But explain for those that maybe don't get it. When you say you want to have an impact, what does that mean exactly? Because I want to understand it for everybody.
So I guess, for me, I grew up around a ton of small family businesses, and I felt that I was always in a position, even going through, college, that, stereotypical, I was the president of my fraternity, and I always wanted to be in positions that it sounds like egotistical. I couldn't fathom really reporting into people, and because of their age or their tenure at the company or something of that nature, that they were inherently smarter than me and inherently their decision processing, they made the decisions above me, and my word was taken with a less grain of salt because of my age or how long I've been at the company or something of that nature. And so growing up around family businesses and in small businesses, you could always see there was people that, rather than based on experience, they just had the wherewithal to go do it. And that, it wasn't always about making the right decision or the wrong decision. It was about having kind of the oomph and the balls to just make the decision. And so that was something I always, gravitated towards and always wanted to be in a position of. And I was a little like, I guess I'm 22 now, but, I'm 25 now. But at the time I was like, just because I'm 22 and you're 27, I couldn't stomach you're inherently more educated than me or something of that nature. And that's just how I was. And so I always kind of fought to be in a position and build relationships that allowed me to be close to, the head decision maker, or making decisions that impact the top line or long term or things of that nature. And I feel like I've somewhat gotten to a place now, and that's why I love what I'm doing. I'm able to learn so much from Gary, but I always had a tough time in kind of the corporate structure. And so I was even here at Vayner for the first 9 months, and everyone's different. So this is just my perspective, but I had a tough time as an entry-level employee, walking into a room and immediately you're kind of cast in that light, and you got to put in the years to get there and this, that, and the other thing. And
well, what's interesting about what you're saying is that you can have an impact even at large organizations as long as you have the ear to someone else that has an impact also. It does not mean that you have to be an entrepreneur and take your own journey and be that solo person on the road. You can be in a big organization and have an impact also.
Yeah, and I think everyone kind of, picks their spots to do that in a different way. And what it took for me to get to where I was is working, 8 a.m. to midnight every day and what have you. And, some people would rather go a different route of doing that. But that was I just wanted that so badly. And, so I was always seeking out opportunities and always just saying yes to things without even thinking about it. That allowed me to maybe, see that down the road. And I've stumbled into what I've got now, which I'm pretty fortunate and blessed for.
So help the 20-somethings that are in our audience right now, maybe even some of the 30-somethings and beyond. Help in terms of something that you could say to our audience members as business advice. Help share with them just a nugget of information, something that you feel like this is the cornerstone by which your business has been, or yourself and your career has been able to boom.
So I would say, mainly one of the things I've always thought about, and I talk to my little sister about a lot, is seek out opportunity, even when it might not seem right in front of your face. But, in terms of go to that networking event rather than hanging out with your buddies who you see 3 times a week, because that one person might be there. And then actually when you're there, go up and say hi and shake your hands of the person that you would think would never want to speak to you, because you'll be incredibly surprised the willingness that people, in C-level positions and things of that nature, they want to have those conversations. Those people want to find a young kid that looks up to them, that they can mentor. And so many times I see kids and people making short-term decisions. I don't want to wake up at 5:30 in the morning to show up. I met Gary by playing 6 a.m. basketball when I lived in New Jersey. I took a 4:30 in the morning train to literally play basketball to get to know him, and that's how I got to where I am today. And I know people who would just say, I don't want to wake up at 6 a.m. because then I'll be tired and I won't do well at my 9 a.m. meeting. And making those kind of short-term decisions. And I think people coming up, especially through college, don't realize how much there is out there, and the willingness of, people in these high power positions. They want to meet these young kids, and everyone is looking for someone that's just showing that they want to go out and get it. And if you're willing to make it happen, it's all there for you.
That's awesome. That's great advice. It's such advice that would be from somebody that I would think would be much older and wiser. And it doesn't even make sense that's how my brain works. It's got to be, hey, listen, you do have the experience. You have landed in a good position. And you haven't gotten there luckily. You've gotten there through the exact policies and procedures and the things that you said internally. This is the way that you're going to build your business, and you have. It does not have to be as an entrepreneur or a solopreneur. It can be a guy that's a part of a larger mechanism like you are. Yeah. Share something that we would want to know about Gary that maybe none of us knows. Although he's on camera 24/7.
He's pretty on the record. I would say, one, he doesn't eat, which is crazy to me. Like I try to go through the day sometimes, and in terms of timing and things of that nature, like he saves actually a lot of time and efficiency. He doesn't take lunch. A lot of people take lunch, and also the efficiency that you can get in packing your schedule the way he does. And a lot of people take, okay, I'm scheduling, hey, can I get on the phone with Gary? Sure. It'll be a 10-minute conversation. But I know people on their side block out 30 minutes on their calendar. They get on the phone with him. They speak to him for 10 minutes. And then the next 20 minutes they spend just operating as if they're just continuing a 30-minute meeting, but there's nothing being done and productive. And so what you really are, and it's like a muscle, trying to be as productive as possible through the day, because so many things slip and you don't realize the amount of time you spend on Twitter, the amount of time you spend texting people, the amount of time. It's like a muscle to really, the second you finish doing something, hop right into the next thing, because you're always, I find mentally, you finish something, you send that email that you've been thinking about a lot, you immediately go to ESPN and check the score of last night's basketball games, or you immediately want to text your buddy, or you immediately want to check what's going on Twitter. But it's really a muscle to, the second you finish that, it's done, and get to the next thing, get to the next thing. And it's really been enlightening to see how much you can actually get done in a single day, even when you are operating that way. And then if you extrapolate that from 8 a.m. till 8 at night, I mean, I've really had my eyes open to what getting stuff done and being productive and the amount of things you can actually accomplish in a day, what that looks like.
Absolutely.
And then when you do that and you realize you've gone from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and then you finish and you're like, wow, I've done all that. And then it's only 8 p.m. and you can actually like still do stuff from 8 to midnight. Like it's really been a powerful eye-opening thing. And then when you think about doing that for a year and I just kind of
it totally takes it to the nth degree, and efficiency and productivity. If you just do that, just that alone will save you a tremendous amount of time. Help me with just a technology tool for a second, so that we can share a little bit of action item and put something in use today that would be immediate for our community. Is there something that you don't think that you could live without in terms of technology?
My phone for sure. Like, and I mean, also even like chargers and wireless chargers. If my phone gets, if my phone's about to die, it can get kind of hairy. But yeah, I think one thing about tech, and I've been thinking about it a lot recently for me, and processes, and especially just because there's so much communication going on, I'm always trying to break what I'm using. And so there's very few platforms, even outside of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and not even Snapchat so much anymore, and Google Calendar and Mail, those 5. Outside of those, I'm always changing and switching what I use for lists, how I set reminders, what I use for an alarm. Like I'm always breaking it. And I feel like that the breaking of those patterns allows me to kind of just keep moving along. And I feel like when I get stuck in my ways sometimes too much, it doesn't allow me to just kind of stay ahead of things. So, did I hear something? Is Snapchat no longer? Is it no longer good? Can I get rid of Snapchat now on my list of things I have to learn? And until tomorrow when they come out with the hottest new thing and everyone goes back to using it.
Oh gosh, I was so happy when I heard that I didn't. When you just gave me that little bit of a pass, because I'm like, there's not one more fucking thing. I cannot learn Snapchat. I don't want to learn it.
I get that. No, it's definitely, I've been pretty hot, as everyone has, on Instagram and what they've been doing. I hold a bunch of Facebook stock from way back in the day, which is nice. Instagram's really taken off for them. But yeah, Snapchat, I think, is an interesting place, as everyone will talk about right now. Mainly I judge it because I don't go on it every day and I don't consume content on there. So I know that, they may be having, a tough time, especially if myself isn't getting on there. But I have no doubt that they'll, figure something out quickly and everyone will be back there. I think it's just the land grab and kind of that battle of arms and kind of the race to figure out the next thing between those two platforms.
So Tyler, let's assume for a second, for the sake of argument, that Gary Vee sets up an amazing interview with someone that just completely would just be your hero. I mean, just total jock sniffing, like whatever it takes just to get around this guy. Who would that guy be for you?
Who would that guy be for me?
Yeah, who would you like to be introduced to that that somebody like Gary could probably put you in front of? Who would that be?
It would probably be like Larry Johnson, maybe maybe LeVar Arrington, old school Penn State football player. But I will say that it's been, I grew up, and I find it weird all the time how things kind of happen in my life. But I grew up in a household that we didn't really, outside of Joe Paterno, there was no like celebrity or kind of, I always talk to my dad about this a lot. We never really looked at celebrity or people of, higher stature that were public figures as like hero or looked up to them, because he always talked about seeing all these people and they have their downfall and their flaws come out. And so he always talked to me about looking at everyone as if they're the same and across the board. And so for me personally, and people are always rag on me for it. John Legend came in the other day and did the Ask Gary Vee show, and he comes in, "Hey John, nice to meet you." And John Legend to me is no different than like the guy at Vayner down the hall. Like I equally would love to have a conversation with both of them. And, so yeah, because my dad always said that everyone
You're immune to it.
I'm immune to it, and I don't think because of how many people I get to meet now, but I always harp back on this conversation that I had with my dad, and this was before the whole Joe Paterno scandal, which is funny. I grew up in the biggest Penn State football household ever. Penn State was everything to me. Joe Paterno was everything to me, and then everything
boom.
that happened to him is exactly why my dad, we never looked up, like, and not that we never looked up, but it wasn't like, oh, Brad Pitt, like, look at him, because my dad always said that there's behind closed doors, everyone has their flaw that everyone's going to want to try and find out and knock you down for. And so, there's no reason to look up to people as a deity versus, your garbage man. My dad was always having a conversation with our garbage man or our mailman, just as excited as he would if,
Well, just know, Tyler, just know that we here at the Nice Guys do not feel the same way. So if there is anybody that you would like to send to us that you feel would be a complete hero to us, we will be happy to sniff their jock as far as we possibly.
I love it. But back to my point, it would probably be like LeVar Arrington, who was one of the best Penn State linebackers ever, and Larry Johnson, number 5 running back. Those were my guys.
Yeah, you're a big sports fan. I was looking at your Twitter feed, and you have a lot of sports comments.
And all those things.
Hey, before we go, I just have one personal question I got to run by you. You're about to get an invitation in the mail. This is a fictitious invitation because I don't ever leave my house, so I actually don't have any parties or anything like that. So I can't actually invite you to anything. But I'm just setting up the scenario for you, Tyler. If you got an invitation in the mail and it were to say, all the invitation things, and at the bottom it always has that, what is the dress code? Like black tie preferred or casual chic. What is the dress code that would most be attractive to you in terms of going to a party?
Oh, like super top of the line tux, as formal as you can get.
Oh, you like the formal event.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny because I typically wear jeans and a t-shirt or jeans and a hoodie to work. But yeah, I love getting snazzed up. That's my mom's side of me. She's always doing her best to keep me fresh and is always yelling at me as I'm on my way out the door about one thing or the other for my outfit. And I bless her heart for it. She's taught me a lot about that, about manners and appearance and things of that nature. So it would for sure be like one of those great Gatsby parties to the nines. And I love getting dressed up and looking the part. So
yeah, Nice Guy community. Just go ahead and look at the cover art. That is exactly how Tyler is not dressed. He's got the work boots, the jeans, and a pullover. Not quite a hoodie, but you do have your earbuds in.
Yeah, my mom would have had a field day with that outfit.
Jeez. Hey Tyler, man, I really appreciate your time today. I know you are busy. I'm sure that Gary. What does he have you doing today? Where are you heading?
So I'm here at the office. Gary's actually in Chattanooga, so I'm just kind of running point from headquarters today.
Listen, Tyler, if you ever need any advice about how to run anything over there, just make sure you just give me a call. I'm happy to add my input. If you want to see the business go right down the crapper,
will do. I appreciate
just give me a call. Tyler Schmitt, thank you so very much for being a part of our show today. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you, Doug. I had a blast. I appreciate that.
Hey, my pleasure. Nice Guy community, never underestimate the power of nice. Again, special thanks to Tyler for being a part of the show today. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids.